Hey Pansy, how you doing?
I'm not too bad. I'm really looking forward today, and it's great to see you here. So yeah, super excited to get into things and actually talk about GC, because last year was kind of fire, and now I get to sit down and talk about 2023 with you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it as well. So one of the things I wanted to do when I was approaching 2023 was figure out how can we better provide experiences that serve a variety of different types of needs, giving our highest skilled teams a little bit of a stage to play it out throughout the year, providing these opportunities to join that experience repeatedly throughout the year. We've also expanded that to include some existing regional events. So these regional events will promote into that second layer where they will also have the opportunity to try to get into VCTGC Emea, and then ultimately that top layer is about fighting for a chance to get into the World Championship, which as of last year had just kicked off. So a really exciting moment.
What is the route and journey like through Game Changers now going into 2023?
The driving motivation behind this year's format, starting from the bottom, is really giving as many opportunities to take that first step as possible. This year, we have a series of regional events. So what this actually looks like is some of the existing events, they will basically have added this extra to the top where their winners will get to go into the layer just above, contenders.
Let's say from that layer up, how many steps are there until you are towards that top end, until you start hitting those more and more competitive teams?
Let's say you got 4 of your friends together and you played in a competition in a region and you won. You were one of the top teams.
Yep.
So you're getting sent up to the next contenders. Game Changers Contenders is going to be where you will play not only against teams from other regions, so this is going to be more grassroots teams, but it's also going to have an open qualifier in the beginning. So you'll be going against other teams that, didn't participate in a regional or maybe didn't have success in a regional and still want that chance to get in to the running for a promotion into VCTGC Emea.
I love the idea that, again, people now get the opportunity to really test themselves, and maybe that first time around it doesn't work. Okay, we've got a second shot at this now, let's come back in, but you've now been able to kind of test. It's a genuine good ecosystem for players to find that competitive edge. That sounds super exciting.
Contenders is happening multiple times in the year, and so are these regional events. So there are going to be multiple opportunities to try. I would like for us to be able to, through this circuit, create this understanding that there's also time needed for some of these teams and players.
Absolutely.
They're not all going to come straight out of the gates being like the best thing you've ever seen, and that's also fine. We all start somewhere, and the circuit is meant to reflect that. Since Contenders is pretty similar to last year, the qualifier is already built into the window of playtime. What's a bit different for VCTGC Emea is that our qualifier happened separately as its own event. It actually recently wrapped up, and really the qualifier was there to fill out the remaining 11 teams of the 16-team league, given the fact that we've invited 5 teams in. So 128 teams duking it out, single elim. And we saw some really tense games, but we do have a full 16-team league now for the first stage. So to give you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of how the format will actually play out in VCTGC Emea, we're going to have 13 days of play total. That's going to be split between the group stages, our regular season, and then it will lead into our playoffs and finals. This will happen with each stage. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 will have this format. The main difference being that at the end of this whole thing, stage 3, our top teams are actually going to be headed up to the global stage. You can expect to see our playoffs, those last 6 days of each stage, on our official streaming channels. There will be different ways for you to check out these teams and their gameplay during the regular season.
So we need to bully all the teams into actually streaming their games and covering it. But I love now seeing already that the young blood coming into this. Mary, for example, was that superstar who
Yeah.
somewhat unknown to an extent. When she joined, I was like, who on earth is taking Zaz's place? Because they're big shoes to fill, and she was up to the task. Expectations for 2023, right? We've been kind of back and forthing a little bit here, kind of, nuggets of information spread about of, which teams you're looking at, how you think it's going to potentially play out. But if you're going to try and summarize it, right? If you can just wrap it up, little bow on it, I don't know, put a fork in it, however you want to, how would you kind of tailor make your expectations going into 2023 now?
So what it's really about is creating a strong foundation for the community. We've expanded our Discord community, for example. We've actually opened it up for acceptance and verification independent of tournament participation. So in the past, you had to be playing in a tournament to join. Now you just have to be eligible for a tournament. So basically, you just need to fill the eligibility parameters and you can still join. We're also trying to grow the Game Changers Emea community in order to bring all of these women together in a space that is worth being in, with shared experience, a fulfilling space that also rewards the progress that's been made. I'm really looking forward to all of those stories, and I think that the expansion of Game Changers is really just kind of the catalyst for this. So for those of you who are interested, definitely head over. Later on in the year, you can also expect that the community will open up also to non-Game Changers eligible people, just so they can access news and POVs.
If someone did want to, tune in for the first time, or maybe this is the first time they've truly been able to follow along with it in 2023, where would they be able to do that? Where can they find that information?
So if you would like to follow the goings-on of Game Changers, the best place to do that is actually the official website, which is vctgcemea.valorantesports.com. We will also be posting about Game Changers from the official VALORANT Esports Emea Twitter. So if you go to either of those places, you will find what you need.
Honestly, it's been good chatting. So thank you so much for taking the time, because it's nice meeting another fan and someone who genuinely enjoys Game Changers. So thank you so much for the time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Right back at you, Pansy. Thank you.